Headlines, highlights, the questions burning up the sports world get answered right here. This isn't just another recap. It's the sports answer. And leading the charge, sharp, fearless, and always bringing the edge, your host, Rudy Campos Jr. If you're talking sports, you better have the sports answer.
What is up, Sports Answer fans? Rudy Campos Jr. joining you again on another fabulous Sunday morning. Be sure to go to Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. Call them today. Go to the QR code, just scan it, take you to the website for Salem Surround, proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. Your business needs to be upgraded, needs to be updated. It just needs to get to the top of the business mountain. Salem Surround is the only call you need to make today. 210-526-3635. Guaranteed to get all eyes on you. That is Salem Surround. Again, proud sponsors of the Sports Answer. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV on YouTube. That way you can catch us here at the Sports Answer every single Sunday. Plus, a lot of great things coming in 2026. You do not want to miss it. We've got full coverage, wall-to-wall coverage on so much going on in San Antonio and the rest of the country. What do we got going on today? Well, CFP, the college football playoffs, they ended. We had one upset, in my opinion, for me at least, because that was the only loss I had in the bracket. And boy, oh boy, did Alabama look bad, and OU came out fast. As our good friend Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. The Tide decided to finally show up, but we're going to get into that coverage here in just a little bit. Also, NBA talk, LeBron making contact with an official. Boy, I kind of bring the edge, like the title or the announcer at the beginning of the show says. I'm going to bring a little bit edge on LeBron because it's getting a little ridiculous here. Week 16 NFL picks are going to be at the end of the show, plus our Spurs Cheese-man today. Start, bench, cut. We're going to make it a short one. It's one of the tougher sports questions that we did see. It's going to be all answered here on the Sports Answer. Let's jump right into it, man. We've got college football playoffs, as you can see, 34-24. The Crimson Tide did beat Oklahoma, and I will say the game of the weekend, in my opinion, I know the Miami and A&M game, it was just awful. I mean, people could say, well, that was a very close game. It was, but for me, the Bama OU game of the weekend, it's the game that kicked off everything for us here on CFP weekend. 34-24, Alabama does come out on top, but OU did start off very, very hot. They started off with a 17-0 lead over Alabama. John Mateer had an 8-yard run to start the scoring. Tate Sandel, a 51-yard field goal. It was 10-0 in the first quarter. Second quarter, OU still came back strong. Satigna had a 7-yard pass from Mateer. 17-0, then boom, the light switch just went off completely. Brooks had a 10-yard pass from Ty Simpson. Tulane had a 35-yard field goal. And for me, the turning point in that second quarter at the 118 mark of the second quarter, Xavier Brown had a 50-yard interception return for a touchdown. That, to me, when they tied the game with OU, spelled doom for the Sooners going into halftime, tied 17-all. Ty Simpson, he's going to be one of the quarterbacks selected in this draft that he comes out. I don't know where he's going to go, but I love the poise that Ty Simpson brings to Alabama. If you remember before the CFP started on one of the earlier Sports Answer shows, I said Alabama, and they were going to be the team that did give OU trouble in the beginning. I didn't really feel like I didn't think OU had much of a chance. And then when OU came out very strong, I thought, okay, this is not the same OU team that we have seen towards the end of the season. We saw them sputter against Texas. We saw them, kind of limping at the end there at the SEC. We didn't know how real healthy Mateer was going to be for this CFP game. Figured Bama would come in and just roll right over them. OU made it a game. Obviously, they were up 17-0. Bama had to hit the switch. They did coming away with the win, 34-24. Bama does move on. Shout out again to Ty Simpson. I was talking a little while ago, the poise of Ty Simpson. I think it speaks a lot of volume. And is it gonna go on to the next round? Is he gonna still have that same type of poise? So soon to find out here. But again, 34-24 in for me. The game of the week. Does Alabama, do they have enough to upset Indiana in that Rose Bowl game? I've said it before. Indiana is the team to beat. You saw them handle Ohio State. I think Indiana deserves that number one ranking. I've been high on them all year. They've just shown that Indiana's defense is there to play, and I think it's going to give Ty Simpson a whole lot of trouble when these two teams do face off. It's gonna be good to see, man. It's gonna be a really good game to see. We're gonna see that game on New Year's Day at 3:00. It is the Rose Bowl. It is Alabama. It is Indiana. Moving on, the game here that was very boring. You saw a bunch of missed field goals. It was just one of those games where it's like, oh God, we have no idea what we're getting ourselves into, right? The first game ever in CFP history where no score, 0-0 at halftime. Just the first score was a field goal by Davis from Miami after, I mean, he missed three field goals on the day. Just a very, very bad game overall. Honestly, this is that game where it was either Miami, it was Notre Dame. We saw them take Miami, bypass Notre Dame. We all know Notre Dame and the CFP, not the best of friends right now. A&M's another team that came into the CFP kind of limping. You saw them lose again to the team we talked about a little while ago. We saw them lose to Texas. At the end of the season, it's a team that, has been playing high and mighty all year, and they just couldn't get it done against Miami. Miami's defense was stupendous. They attacked Marcel Reed all day today, made it very difficult for him, ultimately ending the game with an interception on Marcel Reed. The Hurricanes do end up winning the game 10-3. They're going to move on to play Ohio State. Now, this is a game where I really feel, hey, Ohio State is the second best team in the country. I do not see Miami having a clear-cut chance against Ohio State. Ohio State is a team on a mission right now. After getting, can you say embarrassed? Maybe some of y'all will. After getting beat by Indiana in the Big Ten championship game, Miami, Ohio State. It is the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. It's going to be played on December 31st. Give me Ohio State easily. We're going to show my bracket here in a little bit once we get to these college football playoff games. But yeah, this game just was bad all around. Miami wins 10-7 over A&M. Marcel Reed didn't really look good, but again, he didn't look comfortable there. Miami's defense came to play. I think Miami's defense is going to struggle against Ohio State, but again, they got the job done. They moved on to play Ohio State. One of the games that a lot of people said, hey, this team shouldn't be there, Tulane. They played Ole Miss earlier in the season. Just, hey, let's run it back. Well, still the same outcome. Ole Miss, even without Lane Kiffin, defeating Tulane 41-10. Chambliss is making a case, man. Trinidad Chambliss is definitely making a case to, I mean, where's he going to fit on Sunday? That's my thing. When he hits up to that NFL, where does he fit? Did it with the Lakes, 36 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Did it through the air, 282 yards passing, 23 of 29, 1 touchdown. Ole Miss just looked really, really good. But again, it's one of those games, and the next game we're going to get into in a little bit here says the exact same thing. Why are we having, teams like Tulane, teams like James Madison continue to participate in college football playoffs? I've made it very clear before. I'll say it again. We knew the rules. We knew the standards. We knew what requirements you had to have to make it into the CFP. Tulane deserves that opportunity. James Madison deserved the opportunity. They are going to end up expanding the CFP even more. But for everybody out there saying this is what we get Tulane, we get a blowout. We get to James Madison when we get there, we get a blowout. This is why you should not have these schools in CFP. You can complain all you want. But again, the blueprint was already in place years ago. They made it very clear that certain teams were going to get opportunities to get into the CFP. Do they deserve to be there against some of these big Power 5 schools? Probably not. But again, it makes for good football. For the longest time, we never saw a 16-1 in the NCAA tournament. We never saw it. Happens. We've seen 15 defeat 2, very rare. It happens. Eventually, some of these schools like Tulane, James Madison, any school like this, eventually they're going to start catching up. You're going to start seeing some of these higher end players play at some of these schools. It's the exposure part. It's NIL. NIL has made it very difficult for players to say, you know what, I'm going to ride the bench at an Alabama, at a Georgia. Or I can go to a James Madison. I can go to a Tulane. I can go to a North Texas, get paid to play and play right now, and have that opportunity to make it into the CFP with this team if we go undefeated. NIL has done that for us. So for everybody saying you don't deserve to have a Tulane in there, you don't deserve to have a James Madison or possibly a North Texas or a Texas State or anybody, you've got to stop with that. We knew the requirements. We knew the blueprint. The teams met it. They won their conference. We cannot complain about something we already knew the rules and standard for. Nonetheless, Ole Miss did defeat Tulane again. They defeated them by 41-10, and then they go into another SEC battle at the All-State Sugar Bowl against Georgia. Now, had Lane Kiffin still been the coach at Ole Miss, I think there was a possibility you could see an Ole Miss upset over Georgia. Georgia's been playing outstanding, though. Georgia has been playing outstanding. But is this Ole Miss team have a chip on their shoulder? Hey, our coach left to LSU, a rival school. He didn't care enough about us to stay with us. Could that be on the bulletin board? To say, hey, Lane, appreciate it, but we're going to do this without you. Is that enough fire, passion to beat a Georgia Bulldogs team? We're going to find out on New Year's Day in the All-State Sugar Bowl. Finally, the NCFP. 51-34. Oregon does defeat James Madison. Now, yeah, I mean, you're talking, it was 34-6 at halftime, if I'm not mistaken. But hey, James Madison, they started putting up numbers, scoring 28 points in the second half. And this is what I mean. Even though the game was decided, let's be honest, it was decided. But this is what you start to see. You start to see the development, these little schools that we call to say the little schools, the little darlings that get in, go back into the days of the Boise States that defeated OU and Adrian Peterson. We're starting to see some of these schools come up. That's why they deserve the opportunity in the CFP. You may look, it's over. It's a 17-point win for Oregon. When, to me, Oregon could have easily dominated James Madison. And it could have been easily 51-10, 51-9. Nonetheless, nobody had James Madison winning unless you went to school at James Madison. Let's be real. But this is why I personally love the little guys getting in. They get the experience. They get the exposure. They get to play these bigger schools. We knew the standards going in. We knew the blueprint. Shout out to James Madison. You guys went in. You guys probably were a little shocked in the beginning. Fought hard in the second half. Dante Moore, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. 2 picks, but 4 touchdowns. He also had 1 rushing touchdown. But again, Dante Moore, probably the second best quarterback in this draft. It's going to continue to show why he's going to be a player on Sundays, possibly a first-year starter, depending on what team does draft him. Leads the Oregon Ducks over James Madison, 51-34. They get the Texas Tech Red Raiders. That's going to be one of my games of the week when we get to that time frame. They're playing Texas Tech again, New Year's Day, over at the Orange Bowl. I'm going to love this game. Oregon can just run over everybody if they really wanted to. But I want to see this Texas Tech defense against Oregon. This game right here is circled for me as my game of the week for that week of CFP. They're all going to be good games. But this game right here, Texas Tech and Oregon, that's going to be my circled game of the week. I'm ready for that game. I expect it to be close. I expect everybody to say, hey, we're going to see a barn burner here. Let's get into my bracket here before we go to our commercial break. We've got LeBron talk. We've got Spurs Cheese-man. Plus, we got to end the show again. Week 16 NFL picks. Who do you have? Who do you have in the NFL? We'll see here in a little bit here. Let me share the screen. We've got to show how we here at Box Score at Sports Answer. I remember Box Score Studio because of Jacob Eric, who's normally here as a host with you guys and grading the market. But Sports Answer right here. This is our updated bracket that we submitted on ESPN, as you guys can see. We had Oregon winning. They're playing Texas Tech. We took Texas Tech to beat Oregon in that matchup right there. We had Alabama winning. We've got them going against Indiana. We've got Indiana beating Alabama there. And, of course, we've got Indiana beating Texas Tech. But for right now, we're going into that round. We did take Ole Miss to beat Tulane. They're going to go on to face Georgia. We took Georgia over Ole Miss. And then our only loss was A&M and Miami. Miami ended up winning. But we've got Miami stopping there. And we've got Ohio State as the team to beat Miami there. That's our bracket here. We're going to take a quick commercial break. On the way back, LeBron talk. How do you put your hands on a referee? Push the referee a little bit. Get in the ref's face. Scream and holler. Not get ejected. Don't worry, Bron. It's okay. We got you covered, Ron. We got you covered. Yet you have a Sir Thompson charge your ref. Not necessarily touch him the way LeBron did. Not do any of that. Instant ejection. Are we getting a little tired of the LeBron effect? I think we are. Spurs Cheese-man, Week 16 NFL picks coming up next. This is the Sports Answer on Answer Now TV. Subscribe on YouTube. Click that QR code. That way you can go to Salem Surround, get your business started on the right path. Again, there's only one national championship in college football, and there's only going to be one national champion in the business world. It could be your business. Call Salem Surround today, 210-526-3635. It's Rudy Campos Jr. for the Sports Answer. We'll be back.
In San Antonio, your business deserves more than noise, it deserves to be seen. SEO, social media, digital ads, if you're not showing up, you're losing customers. At Salem Surround San Antonio, we design digital strategies that work, from web design and SEO to social, podcast, and display ads. Real tools. Real results. Let's amplify your brand. Start today with a free digital presence evaluation. Salem Surround San Antonio, your brand, everywhere it matters.
Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Scan that QR code. That way you can go to the website, which is salemsurround.com/San Antonio, to get your business started on the right path today. Don't wait. Make it happen today. Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer, a part of Answer Now TV. What do we got, man? Oh, Bron. I kind of bring the edge sometimes, and you don't get a lot of the edginess from me, but I've got to make some kind of comment now when it comes to LeBron James. So you've got a picture here. The rules don't apply to LeBron. You make a contact with an official, and you clearly see this is not AI generated. This is not Photoshop. Nothing like that. There's plain video. Everybody saw it. It was all over the sports world. LeBron grabs an official by the underarm, pulls him aside, basically is berating him over a call. And it was a plays over with Dillon Brooks, obviously. Dillon Brooks has had a rough week as well. Him and Steph Curry, him and LeBron. It's just a bad week for Dillon Brooks. But the rule clearly states if you make contact with an official, it's a 1-game suspension. Didn't get ejected. Why does this come up? Because you've got a Sir Thompson who charged at a referee on a bad call in his opinion, gets immediately ejected. Immediately ejected. He's gone. I get you may think LeBron is the GOAT in some people's eyes. Oh, he's better than Jordan. He's better than Jabbar. He's better than here. He's better than there. He's my GOAT. I get people say that. First and foremost, LeBron's not my GOAT. I don't even have LeBron in my top 5. I'm calling it straight. I don't have him in my top 5. In fact, I have not been a LeBron supporter, and I have not respected LeBron probably since he's joined Miami. After he joined Miami, I think that's when LeBron's career just went downward. You saw more of the flopping. You saw more of calls, it just got more annoying. Pre-Miami, LeBron as a rookie, year 2, year 3, LeBron in Cleveland, you saw the development. You saw the fire, the hunger. I saw there, you know what? This guy could possibly be in that GOAT conversation at the end. He was a magnificent player. Early years LeBron. I was a huge fan. Then the Miami fiasco happened. I'm taking my talent to South Beach. Lost a little respect. I get it. You want to win. I get it. You want to win titles. Hey, man, nobody's going to blame you for wanting to win titles. I get it. But, okay, you came back to Cleveland. You won in Cleveland. But I know I'm not the only one that says it's just starting to get really annoying. It's starting to really get under my skin and other people's skin that rules apply to everybody else except LeBron. Then you go with SGA, the foul calls and, the contact made. And it's such a thin line to talk about stuff like that. We're going to have to do a whole nother sports answer show on that sports question. But for me, if one rule is a set rule, It applies to everybody. I don't care if you're LeBron James. I don't care if you're Bronny James. The best player in the league, whoever you may think it is, to the worst player in the league, whoever you may think that is. Every rule applies to every player. No favoritism. I don't care what you think about LeBron. He should have been suspended. He should have been really made an example of. But because it's LeBron, it seems like Adam Silver doesn't want anything to do with it. And that's sad. That's another black eye on the league right there. A league that I love very much. Cheese-man time.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs Cheese-man. Dime, por favor.
Thank you, Spurs Cheese-man girl. So, Spurs coming off a couple of victories here. They lost in the NBA Cup, the Emirates Cup, to the New York Knicks. We had learned that Victor Wembanyama's grandmother had passed away earlier that day, so mindset wasn't there. But Spurs weren't really hitting shots. And you know what, guys? Hey, they're not always going to hit every single shot. They're not always going to be on fire like they had been in previous games and in previous Cup games. New York came out. They brought it to them. They stuck it to the Spurs. They are your NBA Emirates Cup champions. Spurs did bounce back. They've ended up playing Washington and Atlanta. Both they got both convincing wins in both of those games right there. Dylan Harper, another coming out game against Washington, finished 24 points. Wemby had 26 against Atlanta, 12 rebounds. Again, just Spurs continuing to roll right now, sitting at 20-7 on the season. But that's not the Cheese-man. The sports answer got a sports question, and it's a very tough one. In the wake of everybody's lovely moment of start, bench, and cut, who would you start, who would you bench, and who would you cut between David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and Victor Wembanyama? This is very, very difficult and a very good sports question. So here's the sports answers reply. You want to start Tim Duncan, the absolute greatest power forward to ever play the game, and more than likely, he's definitely in my top 5 all-time players. Is he higher? I would say I could put him as high as maybe 2 or 3 on the GOAT list. I would definitely start Tim Duncan. Then you go with the David Robinson, Victor Wembanyama. Who do you bench? Who do you cut? We have just only begun to scratch the surface on Victor Wembanyama. I've had a lot of people come at me and say, Rudy, you are a massive hater. You don't know basketball because you don't call Wemby generational. I still don't have Wemby as generational, but it does not mean that he doesn't have the opportunity to become generational. Remember, Nikola Jokic is a generational talent, but he never became generational early on in his career. It took a few years. Wemby could still be considered a generational player. But if you're talking generational right now, I don't have him there just yet. But when it comes to the bench, I would take David Robinson, primarily because of the rookie seasons. Robinson had better stats. And the one stat that a lot of people come at me on is, well, Wemby shot better from the three-point line than Robinson did. Robinson never had to shoot beyond the arc. Robinson is a true center. Wemby is not a true center. So if you want to come at me at the three-point range, fine. The percentage, great. Give it to Wemby. Robinson dominated those rookie stats over Wemby every single category. So give me David Robinson for the bench. And I'm cutting Victor Wembanyama because, again, we haven't seen everything from Wemby yet. But this is a massive start, bench, and cut right here. What do you guys think? What is your sports answer to the sports question of who do you start, bench, cut between David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Victor Wembanyama? NFL picks now before we get going. We did see the Rams heartbreaker against Seattle. The Eagles beat the Commanders. And, of course, the Packers on a late throw by Caleb Williams to DJ Moore, touchdown in overtime. They end up losing to the Bears. Moving on here, let's get our picks in very quick. Clear Buccaneers and Panthers. battle for the division. I'm going to go Panthers here. I like the Panthers at home. Bills and Browns, give me the Bills. Chargers and Cowboys, give me the Chargers. Jets and Saints, I love the Saints in this game. Vikings, Giants, give me the Giants to win this game. Chiefs and Titans, it's Minshew magic, not Mahomes magic anymore. Give me Kansas City to win this game. Bengals and Dolphins, I'll take the Bengals. Falcons and Cardinals, give me the Cardinals to beat the Falcons. Jaguars and the Denver Broncos, I will take the Broncos. Steelers and Lions, give me the Lions. Raiders and Texans, Texans all day. Sunday Night Football tonight has the Patriots and Ravens. Give me the Patriots to win over the Ravens. And then Monday Night Football, San Francisco, Indianapolis. I will take the 49ers in that game. And that's going to wrap it up for us here at the Sports Answer. Again, Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. You don't want to call the number? Got the QR code right up there. Just scan the QR code, take you right to their website. Your business deserves the best. That's why you contact the best. That is Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. You guys enjoy NFL Sunday. And for those of y'all that are in fantasy football playoffs, semifinals, possibly a championship game, I made 6 out of 7 of them. I'm probably going to lose 6 out of 7 of them this weekend with my bad choices. Good luck to everybody out there in the fantasy football playoffs, whether, again, be championship game or the playoffs itself. You guys enjoy your Sunday and get ready for the Christmas holiday, as the Sports Answer should be back during that Christmas break in between Christmas and New Year's to get you guys even more ready for the CFP as we cover everything CFP, as we cover some more NFL as the playoffs are starting to be, or they're going to be right around the corner. And of course, your San Antonio Spurs basketball out there. Shout out to UTSA going to play the bowl game coming up here very, very soon. Again, Answer Now TV on YouTube. Be sure you are subscribing, because 2026 is going to be marvelous and miraculous, and it's going to be full of a lot of surprises. So Answer Now TV on YouTube. That way you can subscribe and don't miss anything here at the Sports Answer. For everybody at the Sports Answer, it is Rudy Campos Jr. You have those burning sports questions, drop them down in the comments. We'll get you some sports answers on the next show.
You've been listening to The Sports Answer with Rudy Campos Jr. Today's show was brought to you by Salem Surround San Antonio, helping local businesses grow with digital strategies that work. Visit salemsurround.com/San Antonio to learn more. We'll see you next time on The Sports Answer.